Joe, I want to begin with a question about the Florida state budget and about something that's been in the news a lot lately. The vast majority of Democrats, like Republicans, voted yes in favor of the new state budget. I double-checked the roll call vote. You voted for it. Mm-hmm. Only 2 Democrats voted against it. Mm-hmm. And now we see the governor of this state, Ron DeSantis, using money from that budget to charter an airplane to go to Texas to pick up Venezuelan migrants and fly them to Martha's Vineyard. And we have heard from a few readers who have said, in words to the effect, why would Democrats help provide the money for DeSantis to do something, this terrible? And what is your answer to that question?
Well, first and foremost, obviously you can't predict what the governor's next move is going to be. We all know that was for political grandstanding purposes only, the way to do that. Being from Massachusetts, I can't even afford to go to Martha's Vineyard, never mind sending these poor people who have come across and looking for asylum and stuff. We voted for the budget, the majority of us, except for those 2. There was some good things in that budget, as far as raises, bonuses, some programs, the Sadowski Fund. They promised to keep more money in the Sadowski. Those little things added all up to overall. There's no perfect budget. But if the monies that we voted for were used for the purposes that they were intended to, we probably wouldn't have, such a divide on, but there's no other options for the budget. It's either the whole budget. We can't line veto things out as a state rep, as the governor can do. So it's either you take the whole cake or nothing at all. And like I said, there was some good programs in there that we agreed upon overall.
Okay, right. Fair enough. All right. And one more budget-related question for you, and that is relating to your constituents in Palm Beach County. Mm-hmm. What's in that budget that you got in that budget to help them, or did you get something in the budget for your district that DeSantis vetoed?
Yeah, he did. In the last couple of years, especially appropriations, that's a big thing when you come back to the district, bringing back monies and stuff. Last 2 sessions, I was very successful going through the process of getting appropriations. We had it for bus passes. It was over $1 million for the county. And in my own town here in Boynton Beach, we hadn't got money for projects, police projects, and walkways, ADA walkway projects. It goes all the way to the governor's desk both times. And I'm excited now. I think I went through the process. I cleared a lot of hurdles to get it to where it needed to be. And with a stroke of a pen, he took it out of the budget. It wasn't like, millions and millions of dollars. In the overall, it was just, pennies. But for whatever reason, obviously he doesn't give us reasons why he does what he does.
Okay. I'm going to open the floor to my colleagues, Randy Schultz and Dan Sweeney.
Rep. Casello, have you met your opponent? Have you done appearances with your opponent?
We had, I met him for the first time a couple of days ago. Cobra out here had a little candidates forum where we were given, questions, the same question to each one of us. It wasn't like a forum where we could, challenge each other's policies or beliefs. So it was just to answer the question, and that was it. It was kind of vanilla, really. That's the only time I met him.
But that's the first time you've seen him out competing or anything?
Yeah, I haven't seen him at all. Yep, nope.
Okay.
Other than his, he's on Facebook, I guess, quite a bit. So
who isn't? What would you say? The last session was pretty remarkable for some of the bills that got passed and made a lot of controversial news and everything. What would you say were the high points, the high point and the low point in the last legislative session?
I would love to say there were some real high points, other than the monies were there to put in some of these programs and trust funds to keep them solvent. That was good. But on the other side, the controversy on some of these bills, from education to women's rights to the insurance industries, we went up there for a couple special sessions to address certain issues, to focus on these issues. And in my opinion, we got nothing done. Nothing of, that would help the overall Floridian. Insurance, We went up there, and this hurricane is going to be a good bellwether that, did we really help with these damages that are coming in from this past storm? Well, with that being said, I think it was like $2 billion we put in the reassurance fund to make sure that they had that backup money. We addressed a little bit of the fraudulent that goes on with the roofing contractors and the assignment of benefits type thing. But it did nothing to put money, save the homeowner money, put the money in his pocket. We voted on. We went up there with the collapse of the condo down there in Surfside. I'm getting calls now. We made that decision, and I voted for that. I think that we need some kind of structured, uniform type inspection program for these condos, these high rises. But with that being said, I didn't get the full understanding that a lot of these HOAs are not properly, and their reserves are not properly funded. So now what's happening is that these individuals living in these buildings, from a lot of them, in many cases, for many years, are going to get hit with some high assessments where it's going to hit them financially, and a lot of them, are saying to me that they can't afford it. So, it's the little things like that. Like I say, abortion, education, and the insurance issues up there.
We just talked to Mike Caruso, who said almost the same thing on the condo bill, but didn't everybody, well, not everybody, but didn't most people say that there would be this kind of pushback because you hadn't ever really made it stick, and the HOAs could just defer on having their reserves? If you go backtrack now, what's the point of the first bill?
Exactly. And to be totally honest with you, I didn't know to what degree how an error they were as far as their monies and these reserves. I didn't realize it was so widespread. I was an HOA president for 5 years. And I tell you, it's a lot harder job than being a state representative, being an HOA president. But with that being said, I was always aware of the reserves that we needed to run our, community, especially when hurricane season or these type of things come up. We always had that money in our reserves. Everyone thought, that was a standard procedure, operating procedure. Obviously, it wasn't. I didn't know the degree on how much they were in back, is getting that money up there in those reserves. So it's. I don't think we looked closely at the whole overall dynamics and how it was going to affect these people personally.
Joe, you're the incumbent in this race, District 90, and your opponent, Keith Feit, I think it's Feit, F-E-I-T.
I think so.
Has raised almost as much money as you have, and neither one of you has raised a whole lot. I'm not going to obsess about money, but do the Democrats have a strong enough voter registration edge in this district that you feel very confident about re-election?
Well, I will say this, okay? Before it's all said and done, I will have outraised them. Believe me, I got almost over $100,000 in my PAC, my PAC. So yeah, and plus we hold, I think it's a 9-11 point difference. I think Joe Biden took this area by, what was it, 6 point something, 8 points. So yes, confidence level is high, but I don't take anything for granted. Every election I had my last opponent, election cycle, she was a Republican, Lydia Maldonado. She ran against me. And, we end up winning 60-40. So that kind of gives you some type of indication how Palm Beach County votes.
Yeah, but in that election, in that election, you raised $80,000 and she only raised about 10. And here, now you're talking, you each raised about 20-25.
Yeah, well, I'll be close to that. In the next couple of weeks, if you take a look at it, you're going to see some very impressive numbers coming in.
What's the name of that PAC?
Why do you need a political action committee?
What's the name of it?
It's real. This is very simple. JC PAC. Yeah.
Why do you need one?
Well, it gives you more leeway as far as what you can actually do with those funds and moving them around, and it gives you the ability to help other candidates that might not be in those types of seats. They're going to be controversial. So yeah, I mean that's the way it is today. Everyone that I know has some type of political action.
I want to read something from your opponent's Facebook page and ask you to comment on it. He's not here, but voters who watch this video are going to want to choose between the two of you. Keith Feit last week on his Facebook page writes, quote, "Great family night at Governor DeSantis' education event in Boca Raton. The governor has consistently stood tall in defense of our children and to protect parents' rights. I'm proud to support Governor DeSantis and hope to be able to join him in Tallahassee to continue to work to reform our education system."
Well, it says everything right there. It shows you where he's going to be up there when it comes to making those hard votes. He's a DeSantis follower. Listen, that's great. Okay, but look we need a two-party system up there. We can't have one party. It will just destroy democracy. DeSantis now up there. He has almost a super majority in the House. He controls the Senate. He controls the Florida Supreme Court. He has no roadblocks as far as whatever his agenda might be at the time. So here's another guy running to be another one of those minions to follow the DeSantis thing. And make no mistake about it, gentlemen, things that are decided in Tallahassee are the agendas of the leadership up there. I'm talking the Senate President, the House Speaker, and DeSantis. Those are the guys who are making it. And God forbid, and Mike Caruso will tell you this, was it last session we had Democratic, we were putting amendments on this crazy bill. I forget what the bill was, but Mike voted for one of the amendments, not the bill, but one of the amendments we try to attach to that bill, okay? He was called in to the House Speaker's office the next day. His appropriation monies at the time was taken off the table, and he said he will hear no more of his bills. That is what they threaten you with up there if you don't follow leadership's lead. We, in the back row up there, we raise our hands. At least we might not make a difference with our votes because of the numbers, but we can make a difference by having them take a vote on it, have them on a record of voting, one way or the other, not to sit there in silence. So that's where we're at Tallahassee. Coming from local government, I was a city commissioner here in Boynton Beach for almost 6 years. It was great. We got things done. We got things done. We got consensus and everything. Up there in Tallahassee, you bring that local knowledge to the Tallahassee level, and it's the most frustrating sport you would ever want to, participate in.
Yeah, you described it well, that's for sure. And Mike Caruso did tell us that story, parts of it. You've embellished it to some degree, but
that's Mike.
But what about? For the benefit of our voters and for our viewers, what about the Democratic caucus leadership mandating how you're going to vote? Doesn't that go on?
But no, yeah. Listen, I'm more of a moderate. I don't go to that far right. I don't buy into that. Look I try to govern, and I did it on the local level here through common sense. What makes sense here? What are we voting on, and why are we voting on it, and what's the best for the overall Floridian? That's how you should be voting. Not what leadership, dictates to us. All right. And so, no, I button heads with our Democratic caucus up there a few times, and that's fine. We still all get together and everything like that. I'm not a radical of any kind, left or right. I like to take that, issue and digest it myself and make it my vote on the common sense of it and what it does.
Did you vote for a 15-week abortion ban last session?
No, no, I didn't. I voted against that 15-week. It's crazy. Our chamber, men getting up there talking, we all have an opinion on that. We really do. And depends where that's between your maker and your doctor and your God, what you believe in. I don't think that we should be up there. This has been in place for what, the last 50 years, Roe versus Wade. And here's the killer of that whole bill. Okay, even if you agreed with the 15 weeks, in cases of incest and rape, I mean, okay, I just told you about common sense. Where's the common sense level there on voting something like that?
Okay.
You could be for the 15-week, and the concept of life when it starts. That's way above my pay grade. But in the cases of incest and rape, we're going to allow this poor woman to go through full-term birth. That is the most craziest thing. One of the craziest things so far that I've counted up there in Tallahassee. Yeah.
I'm going to take a wild guess.
And my opponent is all in on that, I might add.
Yeah, how do you know that?
He said it. He said in some of his literature, he goes, at the minute of conception, when the sperm hits the egg, that's life. And there you go.
Okay.
I don't have to say any more on that.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say that you might have been raised Catholic in Massachusetts.
Hey, I was Catholic. I came from an Italian family, and I was an altar boy for 6 years. So
okay.
That's what happened with that.
I bring it up because, and it's not talked about enough among Catholics, that the extent to which maybe your upbringing, your teaching about, when life begins and abortion, there may be a conflict between your political beliefs and your religious beliefs.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Obviously, there's a lot of factors to go in with, and I can't think like a woman. I can only surmise what, but having to bear a child, the economic factors, the home life factors, the economic, everything that goes into raising a family or having a child. We have too many kids now in foster care because of unwanted pregnancies, or, the parent couldn't, too many single moms out there right now. I can't say what's best for a woman at the time. Like I say, I don't know what the situation might be. But I think it should be left solely on the woman's decision. How and why this pregnancy progresses or gets terminated. I truly believe that's the decision of the woman herself, not us who sit up there in Tallahassee. We have no business getting into that. Life, death, when it starts, when it doesn't start. My belief. Like I said, I was brought up Catholic. Life is precious. That's what I did for all my life. Half my life is try to save lives. That's I believe in that. I really do. And being in this here, Tallahassee's a great place. Believe me, it's an experience. But I got more satisfaction the last couple of years coming back into my district. Okay, during this pandemic, during the unemployment, the people getting out of their homes, being evicted out of their homes. I got more satisfaction helping those individuals, because we have contacts up there in Tallahassee, to get them through a process, okay, where they could get help or had the right direction where to get help. That was the most satisfying part of this whole job in the last couple of years up there. So, and it's all about constituent work, folks. It really is. We go to Tallahassee, we vote yay, nay. That's great. But my billboard in here in my office is filled with thank yous, and you can't put no price on that. That's where I get my passion and desire for doing what I'm doing.
All right, good. Go ahead, Dan or Randy.
Joe, how much of your old district is in this district?
There's the Boynton part. It's a good. I lost a lot of my Western support, coming because now I go all the way out to the Atlantic. But with that being said, I picked up of all of Boynton, where I only had like half of Boynton before. That's where the district was broken up. Over here in Boynton Beach Boulevard, I think that was the dividing line. So now I got all of Boynton, which is good because I served there for many years as a commissioner. And Delray, we're making inroads. I never had a campaign in Delray, but we're out there. We're looking up leadership. I've talked to the most of the city commissioners down there and such. So we're making those relationships, those, trying to bond with the people that, hopefully that I'm going to represent in the next election.
Did you and Mike Caruso talk when the new districts came out? He made a comment, maybe Steve and Dan can correct me if I'm off, but he basically said he left it for you. Am I pretty much?
He's being kind, but look at, they're practical people. Okay. They know that the district now, okay, the new district, okay, is heavily Democratic. Could have Micah won it? I don't know. But like I said earlier, Mike and I, we have a good understanding, a good relationship. I'd even call it a friendship. Okay. And him and I did sit down, and Mike said, look at, I'm getting squeezed out of my district. You're going to be taking over most of that district. He says, I'm going to go, and that's a new district, right? They formed for him up there. Yeah, it's a new district. He says, and I'm going to go up. I have the ways, the means to relocate. He said, I won't run against you, Joe. That's basically what he said, But I'm sure there's underlying reasons. I'm sure they looked at the numbers, and the difficulty would have been, not insurmountable, but it would have been a tough race.
Well, as long as we're talking about party politics, I've got a quick question of you about something. It's not directly involved in your race, but you are a Democratic leader in Palm Beach County. You got an elected Democratic mayor, Dave Kerner, who endorses Ron DeSantis for governor for re-election. What should the Democratic leadership of the county do about Dave Kerner, if anything?
Dave is a friend of mine. I'm totally disappointed. But look, in this game of politics, it seems like you do things to benefit sometimes yourself to, moving forward. Dave Kerner, there's no secret that Dave Kerner wants to be a sheriff. Well, I think we all can agree on that. That's no secret, okay? Bradshaw, it looked like he wasn't going to be coming back, but he did come back. But think of this scenario, and I have no inside information on this. This is just my opinion, okay? There's trouble in Broward County with the sheriff down there, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
They're pretty close to pulling him out of there, I would think.
I'm not sure about that, but go ahead. Yep.
He has to be replaced. He's going to be replaced. Somebody wants to be sheriff.
He's facing a serious investigation by the Ethics Commission. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. So, is that a scenario where maybe this is why he did what he did? Politically in Palm Beach County, the leadership has already said, Terry Rizzo, who's the party, she says he'll never be supported by the Democratic Party here in Palm Beach County again. Things change, but right now that's how it stands. I'm disappointed the way he did it. I don't think he had to come out that blatant about it, but like I said, I think there's some personal political gain to have it.
I want you to file this away just because I've heard it from a couple of people who I trust. If your sheriff doesn't resign early, Dave Kerner has supposedly told close friends in Palm Beach County he would like to be the next director of the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles in Tallahassee. He's been a police officer. That job undoubtedly is going to be open if DeSantis is reelected. Well, it's going to be open regardless of who gets elected. I think so.
Right, and that was talked about a year and a half, 2 years ago when this all. Look, there's no secret that I want to run for Dave Kerner's seat. That I'll be totally upfront with you, gentlemen. My dream is to become county commissioner someday. I think I've done my due diligence. I've put my time and effort in, from this local to the state. I would love to come back to the county where I think I could really make a difference, in a county seat. With that being said, there's a lot of dynamics that go into it. Nothing's guaranteed. So that's where we're at now.
Okay. I think that we've covered the main territory we need to cover this morning. I think we're in pretty good shape, Representative Casello. Dan, any last thoughts? You good?
I don't think so. I wish his opponent would have joined us.
Me too.
I do too. And I just want to clear up one thing. My opponent has come out with a negative, saying I want to defund the police. And just for the record, I have both the FOP and the PBA endorsement along with campaign contributions. So for him to put stuff like that out there is totally untruth. You know, it's not truthful, and I don't appreciate that. You know, listen, I'm not perfect. You know, you put out there, you know, my flaws if you like, but please don't put out mistruths. You know, how I support and what I don't support.
Are there any joint appearances between you and he scheduled in the next couple of weeks?
You know, not that I know of. That, like I say, the first time I met him was a couple of nights ago. He's got a PhD in education. He sounds like he sounds like his whole platform is more geared. He's bashing Biden all the time, but they you know, even DeSantis, they fail to tell you that this the billions of dollars of surplus that he brags about. We all know where a lot of that money those billions came from, you know, the feds. All right. Let's not make no mistake about it. It's not because we're having a ban a year here in Florida. So, but they fail to mention that. And he uses those as on his soapbox, like he's doing the greatest thing. And he's got a $22 billion surplus and blah, blah, blah. But yet, you know, we still have the affordable housing issues and such insurance issues and everything else that goes with government. Oh.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you showing up this morning and answering these questions and telling us more about your priorities and stuff. We do.
Yeah.
Representative Joe Casello, thanks for being with us this morning.